Hi everyone, this is our presentation on investor marketing for expireds and for sale by owner leads. Now this tends to be two of the areas as investors that get left out the most because it's a realtor type of thing. It's something realtors are taught to go after, but real estate investors go after foreclosures and probates and just homes that are for sale. But a lot of times they forget these two areas, which I think are the low-lying fruit. I think they're great things to go after. So why expireds and for sale by owners? They're easy to find. Okay, they're what we call the low-hanging fruit, easy to get to, and that's what you want, especially as a new investor. And a lot less competition from other investors. Just like I said, they just don't know about it, they don't understand it unless they're already a realtor. And you get to come in as more of an advisor or consultant versus a realtor. These people do not want to speak to realtors. They just had a bad experience with one. They didn't get their house sold if it's an expired. If it's a for sale by owner, the reason why they're selling it for sale by owner is they either don't like realtors, they don't think they're worth what they get paid, or they just don't want to pay the money. So for those of you that have multiple listing service access, the MLS, as a realtor or through the industry contacts, maybe you're an assistant to a realtor, expired home listings can be incredibly lucrative to those that take advantage of them. So this is something, again, low-lying fruit. I think, we can come in and save the day. Expired listings, a lot of people don't know what they are, but they were basically, a listing generally lasts for 6 months. The home was put on the market, and for whatever reason, it didn't sell. And usually I like to share with you that there's 3 reasons, especially in a seller's market like we have now. There's 3 reasons why properties don't sell. It's either location, condition of the property, or price. More often than not in a seller's market, the realtor's saying that they can sell it for more than it's actually worth. And that's the problem. And once they tell the seller that, and then they start trying to drop it, the seller goes, no, you said it was going to sell for this much. Why are you trying to drop the price? They already have a net sheet. They already think they know. They already have a price of what they're going to make, or an amount of money they think they're going to make. So maybe they were overpriced, not marketed well, needed work, or needed to be staged. There's a lot of other reasons, but really it comes down to location, condition, and price. There can be lots of reasons why they don't sell, though. So what you have to understand is when a house becomes expired, it is a hot commodity. There are tons of realtors that can get these off the MLS. They can buy leads and things like that, and they're calling these homeowners. And oftentimes I'll reach out to a homeowner where their house is expired, and they'll be like, you're the 4th or 5th person to call me today. Matter of fact, as someone who's listed properties, and had them expire, I get those calls, and it's very frustrating. So you just have to understand the psychology of this. The first day, very frustrating. So what we can do, we can actually be sneaky. If we're not licensed, we can go and talk to the homeowner a day or 2 before it becomes expired. If we're licensed, that's illegal activities, and we can get in trouble, so we can't do it. So just understand that your competition is going to come from all angles. Mailings, calls. People are going to knock on their door to try to get that listing, promising the world. They're going to tell them how they're going to have this 40-point marketing plan. They're going to fly a drone over their house. They're going to put they'll put their house on the main page of the local city newspaper. So rah, it feels good. I got my house on the front of the newspaper. It does not matter. If it's overpriced, no one's going to buy it. And so we just have to come in and be able to educate the seller on the facts. So the great part about this is once we're all able to get past the huge defensive wall the seller puts up, we have it easy as we present a different set of options that nobody else can present. At Fortune Weavers, we equip you with tools. We don't have competition. Failure to sell a home may result in a highly motivated seller. So once they're at a point, maybe they've moved out, they are highly motivated, and that's what we want. Highly motivated sellers. That works in our favor. So how do you find them? Well, if you know a realtor, they can look them up for you. That's easy. And if you're doing what you're supposed to and calling realtors, I assume you have relationships already. All right, so you could call a realtor and get expireds. or you can buy leads. So these are something that you can buy. So here's a picture of my MLS screen. All right. And if you look over here, expired 0 to 60 days. So these are expireds that have taken place in the last 2 months. Single family residences. Obviously we can look at others as well, but this is the focus for this presentation. Standard sales. They weren't special. They weren't foreclosures or anything like that. Okay. This is in the city of Long Beach alone. And if you look, there's 51 matches of expired listings when I did this search. Properties that expired in the last 2 months. And that's all the information I needed. So here's one that popped up. 1047 East Market Street in Long Beach. It's an expired, and again, I'm just using this as an example. It looks, I love Spanish style houses. Looks like it's a corner lot. And, charming Spanish style corner lot home with beautiful architectural design and curb appeal. This 2-bedroom, 1-bath gem is full of character. It includes traditional Spanish arches, wood, and tile floors throughout. The spacious, quaint living room is designed with high ceilings, a picture window, and a faux fireplace. A separate dining room is an entertainer's delight. The airy kitchen is adjacent to a cozy breakfast nook. The window wood casings add an element of charm. A separate laundry room is conveniently located next to the kitchen. There are 2 spacious bedrooms and a real plus. The hall bath is a retreat with tiled shower and tub. The fenced rear yard is a great place to enjoy a cool beverage with family and friends. Conveniently located near freeway access, shopping, schools, and delicious dining. A perfect blend of wonderful. Welcome home. I love this realtor. This is phenomenal. I thought this is a really good description because most of the time there's a bunch of spelling errors. But if we look on this, this actually didn't get listed very long. It's a 2-1, 1,200 square feet. We know it's not a rehabbed house because it doesn't say anything new or renovated or anything like that. But it was only on the market 56 days before it expired. They did not give them a lot of time. At least not this realtor. But what we could do is do the research to see if it had been listed before. But obviously, somebody didn't think it was worth the price above of $390,000. So after 56 days, it's not selling. Usually after a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, the seller's starting to get a little antsy, especially in a seller's market. Like, why isn't my house selling? So we do the property radar checkup on it, and this is great. All right. It shows that they live at the address. If we go back, it's 1047. It shows that they live at the address. All right. They only bought it for $126,000. They owe $89,000. Estimated value is about $384,000. Now, that's interesting because they were trying to sell at $390,000, right? And $399,000. You can see that it had been on the market, earlier in the year for $399,000. It was only on the market 33 days. Then they got 89 days in September. So, it wasn't selling at the price that they thought it was worth. It's probably overpriced based on the condition. Listed for sale, yes. Owner occupied, yes. So we go to, so we have, for us, this is great. We're looking at this going, okay, if this thing isn't rehabbed, we have the tools to help this person. All right. It didn't sell. They've tried to sell it twice. It didn't work. We can come in and swoop this thing up. Oh, and beautiful, guys. Check out the pictures. It's not rehabbed. It has an original kitchen. That's why it's not selling at $390,000. Also, it's vacant. This means they've probably moved, possibly bought another house or are living in a rental something, and they're paying now this mortgage that we saw plus another one. So we can come in at Fortune Weaver, swoop this up, pay the mortgage on it until it sells, fix it up to where it's, glorified in its limelight. It'll sell for top dollar. All we need is the conversation. The beautiful thing, it's vacant. So that's a big winner for us. So now that you've seen that, then there's FSBOs, for sale by owners. So expireds are great. You can just see kind of what that can do for us. Someone's anxious. You already know they want to sell it. They just didn't. Our job is to kind of figure out where they're going next or where they are. Where is that person that said they live there? They're gone. So we gotta do some work to get their phone number. And then there's these people that do for sale by owners. So with sites such as Zillow and Trulia available on demand, the for sale by owner process is increasingly popular. The web has brought it and made it easier for people to sell their own houses because most or 90% of all searches start on the internet now. So smartphone photography has made marketing ridiculously easy. All right, one major pro of for sale by owner is saving the hefty 6% commission fee that real estate agents typically charge to market and broker a deal for your home. You know, they make a lot of money. And this is something that I've struggled with for a long time because I don't know that it's necessarily worth 6% for someone to sell my home, especially in a seller's market. You know, if they had to work real hard and it was a buyer's market and it just wasn't something that it was easy to do, I'd pay more. But in a seller's market, I could just literally put it on the MLS, price it right, and it's going to sell. I don't need to do much work. I don't even need to do open houses. You know, that's for realtors. So knowing that, why should someone have to pay? You know, if they're selling a house for $500,000, that's 30 grand of sweat equity that they have to give away. Not sure it's worth it, personally. I just kind of disagree with the whole thing. So anyway, and we pay it. We pay 5%. I never pay 6%, but I'll pay 5%. So reasons for sale by owner. In our market, where the average home sells for about $400,000 plus, 6% savings is that $24,000. Right? So, you know, that's a lot of money for some people. It takes them, you know, for someone to save $24,000 can take people 4 or 5 years, maybe longer. Depends on who they are. Marketing is easy as a flat fee MLS brokerage, and they'll charge a little $75 to list that property. Most people don't know that. So here's some reasons that we found. This was from the National Association of Realtors, Research 2016. The number one reason that people did a for sale by owner listing is that 39% of them didn't want to pay a commission. They wanted to save the money. 33%, they sold it to someone they knew. Why do you need a realtor if you already have someone you know that's going to buy it? You know, it's usually pre-sold. Buyers contacted sellers directly. That would be people like us, 14%. 7% didn't want to deal with an agent. They don't like them. 5% agent was unable to sell the home. That's interesting. 1% seller has a real estate license. So you see the star there, the asterisk, it's actually less than 1% of the people selling houses are realtors. Could not find an agent to handle the transaction, less than 1%, and then there's just the other. So these are good to understand. You gotta understand when you're talking to someone that says for sale by owner, they don't want to pay commission. So we have to be able to come in and tell them how we're going to save them money and how it makes sense for us to help them with their house. So reasons people shouldn't sell their own homes. A lot of scams out there. Common scams include fraudulent paperwork. That includes appraisals, loan docs, foreign buyer deposits. Scammer sends too much in a bad check and then requests a refund. Purchases through a third party, a fake attorney, etc., and asking for personal information. This happens all of the time. And so these are things we want to warn a person that's doing for sale by owner that, hey, you know what? How do you know that your buyer's legit? And are you using the proper paperwork? So the liability is on the side of the seller, and that's what people don't realize. So everyone makes mistakes. A seller or buyer who doesn't have the representation of a licensed agent pays for those mistakes. Those of us that are licensed realtors, we carry E&O insurance to protect us. So attorneys can close a real estate transaction, but they don't carry errors and omissions. And that errors and omissions is there in case there's something that goes wrong. So one thing we would want to remind a seller is that they carry all the liability if they try to do this on their own, where a licensed agent will take away that liability, or most of it. Also, paperwork is daunting. Look at this. The 2015 National Association of Realtors profile of home buyers and sellers showed that understanding paperwork was one of the most difficult tasks for sale by owners. Okay, if you look at one of our packages, like 61 pages. You know, the purchase contract is 13. There's a lot to know in there, and you know, if you're trying to do this on your own and you don't have a background in real estate, that can be tough. Depending on the state, there are a variety of legal forms that are needed, including but not limited to sales contract, property disclosures, occupancy agreements, and lead paint records. And here locally, we have our hazard reports, you know, that have to be there. Learning how to fill out the disclosures, very, very important. And then the facts. For sale by owners sell for less. In 2015, FSBOs lost about 16% of the sales price with a median selling price of $210,000. Agent-assisted homes sold for $249,000 on average. So you just have to understand that they generally think they're saving money, but they're not. Homeowners selling by themselves simply don't have the time to devote to the process, don't know the market value, don't understand market reports, and don't properly market the property. They think they can put an ad on Craigslist and sell their home. Maybe put it on Zillow. It's possible, but everybody gets a little sketchy when someone's doing their own thing. They start feeling like maybe they need an agent for representation. Inspections are problematic. Sellers who don't know the rules can get stuck with unnecessary and costly repairs. This is something to pay attention to. Check this out. When Sue sold her 10-year-old Bixby Knolls Long Beach home, after the inspection, the inspector said she needed to change the stairs from the garage to the house because the code had changed. He listed other code changes, and the buyer began to demand these be done. Surprisingly, the inspector didn't know that because these items were to code when the house was built, the seller wasn't responsible for the changes. So these are things that cost a lot of money. So that's just, again, if I know that someone's selling their own house, I'm going to bring in my inspection. I'm going to get under the house, I'm going to find foundation issues, plumbing issues, you name it. I know where to look. I'm going to go in the attic. I'll find all the issues, and I'm going to use that to my advantage because I know the rules. So you need to explain this to people when we sit down with them. So to find for sale by owner leads, there's some websites out there. One is forsalebywowner.com. That's probably one of the most popular. FSBO is actually another really good one. It's a funny name. FSBO. I guess that's supposed to be FSBO only. And owners.com. That's one that you can utilize to find, for sale by owners. Obviously, we use Rebo Gateway. Again, there's other ways to do it, and we're going to show that next. Oh, and FSBO.com. Which stands for sale by owner. All right. Also, you can buy leads on RedX. There's other sites that sell leads. There's ListSource, but this tends to be one that a lot of people go to if you look online. They tend to be up to date. There's a lot of different places you can find them, but you look for a lead source, just Google it, and these things do cost money, so you can take a look. So expireds are going to be all over Southern California. Whatever the matrix or the MLS offers, it's going to give you all of those, which is a lot. And it's $60 a month for that. And for sale by owners, if you look right there, it's $30 a month. So for $90 a month, you can have lots of leads at your disposal. I wouldn't buy the pre-foreclosures, not off this. I don't think that's interesting enough for it. Anyway. And then the FRBOs are for rent by owners. That's a whole nother thing. But the expireds and for sale by owners, those are great leads for us. All right, there's 3 ways to contact these people. The easy way is to send a marketing piece, right? So you have your lead. My advice is you start with a phone call. See if you can get them on the line and get a conversation going. Most of these people are very defensive. They think you're an agent. That's just what you're up against. Number 2, make sure you visit. Go knock on the door. Especially if you have, if you have the ability to kind of share with them how we're different. Go visit them. Get a conversation going. Look at their house. See if it's something that you would want to buy. Build rapport. And the 3rd way is direct mail. So 3 ways that I would suggest you do this. And it looks like this. There's your lead. You make the phone contact. Some of you are going to want to make the visit phone contact first, but I would call first and see what happens. So you have your point of contact. If you cannot reach them via phone, next you call again. Don't just stop. Maybe they're not home when you call. And then you do the personal visit. Now you can do it the other way around. You can do the personal visit and then make the call. That's really up to you. And then make sure you send a letter. Something that shows, something to do with those statistics that I just gave you, where FSBOs don't sell, I'll give you another statistic here in a second. So, these are just, I'm telling you guys, low-lying fruit. It's easy, especially with the tools we have here at Fortune Weavers. Through that process, hopefully you get a deal. This is where the price lift comes in really handy. You know, if it's a fixer, obviously we can negotiate a cash price. It really depends on what that homeowner needs in that moment. You know, if they say, hey, you know what, I've already moved, I've already bought another house, I'm ready to get rid of this thing, can you just give me a cash offer? Perfect, we can do that. Hey, you know what, the reason why I was trying to sell it by myself is I really need the money. You know, I didn't have the money to give away to agents. I need every cent because I have health issues, you know, and I need to pay for doctor bills. Hey, let us make you that money through the price lift. You know, I didn't want to use an agent. You know, they cost too much. You know, God, man, I was just afraid I was going to give away 6%. Hey, Fortune Weavers can sell this at a discount. Matter of fact, we'll show you how to sell it for sale by owner the way we would, but actually market the property and show them how we would do a campaign to get their house sold. So we have those options. And here's just a piece that I thought was interesting. 91% of all homes were sold by realtors last year. So that means very few were sold for sale by owner. Remember, there's a whole bunch of these that are sold just to family and stuff like that. So you have to know your statistics. The reason we're going for sale by owner route can be risky business, and the pitfalls can be enormous. So know the pitfalls. Understand that they generally don't sell for as much as the people think they do. They think they're saving money, but they're not. They're getting whittled down on price because they just don't know what they don't know. And that's it for tonight's presentation. And we will answer questions in just a moment. Thank you.